The story begins on the day when something strange appeared in the sky. No one knew that this was the beginning of humanity's final days. People around the world thought it was just a space event, but scientists knew that behind it lurked a danger that was going to wipe out the entire world. At this point, we see the story's main character, John, spending an ordinary day with his wife, Allison, and son, Nathan. That day, they were all sitting happily at home. But they had no idea that in just a few moments, their lives were about to change. Suddenly, an emergency news alert started playing on TV. The news reported that a dangerous comet called Clark was going to pass close to Earth. At first, people thought of it as just a space event. But scientists knew that behind it lurked a danger that was going to destroy the whole world, because this was no ordinary comet. A large piece of it was going to directly hit Earth, and it was impossible to predict the devastation that would follow the impact. After hearing the news repeatedly on TV, as soon as John stepped outside, all the birds started fleeing rapidly in one direction as if some huge disaster was coming. Then suddenly, a dangerous, powerful gust of wind blew him away from his house. The gust was so strong that it even shattered the windows of the house. Everyone inside panicked, because now they realized this wasn't just an ordinary event, but the beginning of a massive catastrophe. Meanwhile, John received a message alert on his phone informing him that his family had been selected for a special shelter where a select few people would be given protection. But when the neighbors in the house found out about this, they were not at all happy with the decision. They angrily said that if the world was in danger, then everyone should get a chance to survive, not just a select few. This decision was not at all easy for John to make. He wanted to help his neighbors, but circumstances forced him to leave in order to save his family. As they left, they saw traffic jams everywhere on the road, a clear sign that the danger was very close now. John somehow managed to reach the airport quickly with his wife and son, where security was everywhere. Army soldiers were stationed on every side. There was chaos everywhere. Everyone wanted to head toward the shelter to escape the danger. But only those who had been selected for the shelter were being allowed inside. John somehow got inside with his family. But the trouble wasn't over yet. As soon as they opened their bag, they discovered that Nathan's insulin medicine was missing. It had been left behind in the car. Nathan was actually a diabetic patient, and insulin was essential for him. John told his wife to go ahead onto the plane with Nathan while he quickly went back to get the medicine and return. But John's wife refused to board the plane without him. She told an army officer that her husband had gone to get their son's medicine and that they wanted to wait for him. But this is where a big mistake happened. According to Army rules, no patient was allowed inside the shelter. Because of this, the Army took John's wife and Nathan with them to the control room where a woman in charge was present. She flatly refused to let them board the plane and said they could no longer go toward the shelter. A little while later, John returned to the airport with the medicine. But now he could see neither his wife nor Nathan. Panicking, he rushed into the plane and searched blindly everywhere for them. But, unfortunately, he couldn't find either of them anywhere. Meanwhile, an Army officer noticed the insulin in John's hand. When the officer asked about the medicine, John explained it was for his son and that they hadn't been allowed in. They said they won't take anyone who's sick, the officer said. Hearing this, a chill ran down John's spine. He immediately ran to get off the plane, but by then it was already too late. The plane's door was almost closed, but his misfortune continued. Outside the entire airport, conditions began to deteriorate. Everyone had broken free of Army control. People wanted to get inside no matter what. Everyone trying to save their own lives rushed toward the plane. The Army tried its best to stop them, but the crowd was so massive that no one could do much. Amid this chaos, a bullet struck an Army soldier directly. Because of that, bullet fuel began leaking from a fuel pipe, and before anyone knew it, fire spread across the area. Within moments, a plane, too, was caught in this disaster, causing a massive explosion. The explosion was so powerful that no one present got a chance to save their life, and everyone there was burned to ashes. Meanwhile, John's wife was also running to save her life from there, and she witnessed all of this. Now it became even harder for John to reach his wife and son. Seeing no other way, his wife sent a message saying that she and Nathan were heading to her father's house. Meanwhile, people everywhere were running toward another plane to save their lives. Amid all this, John somehow made his way back to his car while saving his own life. But by then, his wife had already left. Seeing the note his wife had left behind, he understood where his family had gone. Now he had only one purpose: to reach his wife and son by any means necessary. Meanwhile, John's wife went into a medical store to get her son's medicine. She was gathering some medicines there when suddenly the store was attacked by thugs. Allison somehow saved her life and got into a car parked there. During the journey, when the driver found out that the two of them had been selected for the shelter, but couldn't get a spot on the plane because of their son's medical condition. Everything became clear to him. The man immediately got out of the car, forcibly pulled John's wife out, and threw her to the ground while taking their son Nathan along with him. Meanwhile, John was trying to reach his family when another comet fell toward Earth. As it fell, a terrible catastrophe broke out. People everywhere started running in all directions to save their lives. But John somehow managed to escape. On the way, luckily, he found an army truck heading toward Canada, and without wasting time, he got in. During the journey, he met a man who told him something shocking, that an underground shelter had been prepared in Greenland for a select few people from around the world, but not everyone could get a spot there. Only those who could help rebuild a new world after the coming devastation were chosen. It was then revealed that John was an architect by profession, which is why his name had also been included on that list. Doctors, engineers, and other experts had been chosen for the same reason, so that if humanity survived, they could start everything over again. But another man in the truck noticed the bracelet tied around John's wrist. He realized that it was an entry pass into Greenland. Out of greed, he tried by any means to take the bracelet from John. But John flatly refused. The man then began threatening him, but John was firm in his resolve and clearly refused. This led to a scuffle between the two, and during the struggle, the truck lost its balance, causing everyone to fall out of it. Some people died right there on impact, but luckily, John survived the accident. Meanwhile, John's wife Allison stood on the road asking everyone passing by for a lift, but no one even acknowledged her. So without wasting any more time, she started, running toward the airport on foot herself. Meanwhile, the man who had given John's wife a lift reached the airport with John's son. His dirty plan was to take advantage of Nathan's bracelet and take shelter along with his own wife. He lied to the army officers, saying that they had lost their bracelets in the crowd and that this boy was their son. At first, the army believed him, but then John's son suddenly spoke up. "These are not my parents." Hearing this, the army immediately grew suspicious and took Nathan into their custody right away. Meanwhile, John's wife Allison also finally reached the airport. Searching for her son, she reached the place where he was being kept in a rescue camp. Seeing her son safe, she breathed a sigh of relief. A doctor told her that if she didn't want to go toward the shelter from here, a military truck would be leaving shortly for Canada, and the two of them could go on it. Meanwhile, John, after facing many hardships, also reached Canada. He went straight to his father-in-law's house, but his wife and son weren't there. Amid this restlessness, his phone suddenly rang. On the phone, his wife told him they had gotten off on the main road. Hearing this, John immediately set out to pick them up. After so many days, when the three of them finally met each other, that moment felt nothing short of a miracle for them. But they had no time to celebrate. John told them that the biggest comet hadn't struck Earth, yet the real disaster was still to come. That's why they had to reach that underground shelter in Greenland no matter what, because that was the last chance to survive. Allison asked her father to come along, but he flatly refused since his death was already certain there. So reluctantly, John and his family set out toward the shelter. But the world was no longer the same as before. As they moved forward, small fragments of the comet kept falling from the sky along the way, spreading destruction everywhere. Wherever a comet fragment fell, people died on the spot. John had to catch the last flight no matter what. When he reached the airport, the plane was ready for takeoff. Seeing no other option, he stopped his car right in front of the plane on the runway. As soon as the car stopped in front of it, luckily the plane came to a halt. The pilot came out furious. John told him that his family had also been selected for the Greenland shelter, but the pilot refused because the plane was almost out of space. Still, John was determined to board the plane no matter what. He threatened that if they didn't take his family along, he would never move the car from the runway. Forced by the situation, the pilot let John and his family board the plane. Everyone was moving forward when suddenly that very same largest comet struck Earth. The shockwaves from the impact were so dangerous that even the plane shook violently. The plane went completely out of the pilot's control and crashed into a mountainside, getting destroyed on the spot. Some people were injured, but luckily everyone survived. As soon as they got out of the plane, they spotted army bunkers in the distance. As soon as the army saw them, they brought them near the underground bunkers of Greenland. Just then, fragments of that same massive comet started falling to the ground. Seeing this, a chill ran down John's spine. Everyone quickly rushed into the bunkers. An emergency alarm rang loudly throughout the bunker, a clear sign that the comet had come very close to Earth. As soon as the bunker doors closed, everyone inside completely lost contact with the outside world. No one had any idea what devastation was unfolding above ground. Then the story jumps forward an entire year. After some time, Earth slowly began to recover. When the bunker door was finally opened, only horrifying scenes of devastation lay outside. Huge cities had turned into ruins. For years, people had remained trapped in that bunker, but they couldn't stay there much longer because their remaining food and water supplies were slowly running out. By now, John's son Nathan had also grown up. Quite a bit. One day, John, wearing a suit, went out searching for supplies and reached near a deserted ship. There, he saw piles of dead bodies everywhere. Before he could search further, a radio warning alerted him to a very dangerous storm approaching rapidly in his direction. John somehow ran back toward the bunker to save his life. The storm got dangerously close to him, but luckily, running as fast as he could, he made it inside the bunker just in time. Sometime later, a meeting was taking place inside the bunker to figure out how to rebuild the world once again. Suddenly, a powerful earthquake struck. It was so intense that the entire bunker shook violently from the tremors. People started running in every direction to save their lives, but no one got a real chance to escape. Some died right there on the spot. In this chaos, John grabbed his wife and son and ran to save them, rushing out of the bunker. He quickly opened the bunker door and got out just in time. As soon as everyone was out, the bunker collapsed completely from the inside. Once outside, chaos broke out everywhere. Some people had oxygen masks, while many others without masks ran toward the sea to save their lives. Everyone rushed toward boats anchored in the sea, since that was now their last chance of survival. John also jumped into the sea with his family. As soon as he jumped in, some people snatched his mask away, but he somehow managed to get into a boat with his family. They immediately shut the door. Luckily, their boat made it out into the sea. As they moved forward suddenly, the massive waves of a dangerous storm swept away the people still on the shore. Their boat barely survived this disaster. After drifting at sea for 2 days, their boat's engine slowly began to fail. But the relief was that it was still capable of moving forward, since these boats had been built in such a way that even the sea's dangerous waves couldn't destroy them. At night, John's son Nathan was still watching several comets in the sky heading toward Earth, which made it clear that the danger to Earth wasn't fully over yet. Finally, after days of travel, they reached the shore. Reaching the coast at first, everyone thought all of London might have survived, but on closer inspection, everyone's blood ran cold. The entire city had been submerged in water. They were no longer floating on the sea, but over all of London. While searching for food, moving a little further, they came across many more people, which made it clear that there must be several other bunkers nearby too. A little while later, they reached near one such bunker. John's wife immediately showed her Greenland pass to try to get inside, but John's and his son's passes had been lost. Because of this, they were denied entry. Everyone started shouting, but no one there had their pass either, so no one was allowed inside. In this crowd was also John's friend, a doctor, who also tried to get in. But since he had no proof, an army soldier shot him right there, and the poor man collapsed on the spot. Before everyone could get inside the bunker, another extremely dangerous storm suddenly hit. Seeing no other option in front of him, John immediately fled from there. Luckily, a man gave them a lift, but their troubles weren't over yet. Suddenly, along the way, a swarm of comets began heading toward them from the sky. Everyone grabbed hold of trees tightly, but the man ran toward his car to try to save it. As soon as he reached the car, a comet struck it directly. Along with his car, he too was burned to ashes on the spot. After this, John took his family to his aunt's house in London. With them was also a woman who was a doctor. Surprisingly, John's aunt was still alive. She had a bunker built beneath her house, which is what had kept her safe all this time. Many other people were there too. After so many days finally finding a safe place, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. John told his wife the truth, which completely broke her from within. He told her that radiation had spread throughout his body, and now his survival was almost impossible. Because of this, he wanted to take his family before he died to the place where the first comet had struck. He believed that perhaps life could begin again from there. The next morning, everyone got ready to set out on the journey. John's aunt gave him a gun for their protection. During the journey, the day went by fine, but as night fell, some bandits attacked them. In this attack, the doctor traveling with them was killed on the spot. But John didn't lose courage. He immediately got out of the car and one by one put every single bandit to death. In the morning, they buried the doctor and set out once again on their journey. After facing many hardships, when they reached a certain place, they were left stunned where there used to be a sea years ago. It had now completely dried up. Moving a little further, they saw many cars parked because there was no way to go any further. From there, the ground had split apart in the middle. Seeing that cracked ground sent chills through them. The only way to cross it was a thin rope bridge. Here, Reluctantly, John and his family gathered the courage to start walking across it. But crossing that bridge wasn't easy at all. Strong winds and shifting ground made their journey even more dangerous. Many people fell along the way and lost their lives as the rocks there kept weakening gradually. But John, somehow holding on to, his wife and son managed to cross that chasm while most of the others died behind them. Reaching the other side of the chasm, they moved toward the place where the first comet had struck. But upon arriving there, they found no greenery or safe place at all. Everywhere was scorched earth. Everything there had been destroyed, and seeing this left John utterly stunned. But before they could leave, an armed man suddenly appeared in front of them. John told him his entire story, after which the man took them in for shelter at his house, where many other people were also present. He told them that the place they were searching for was nearby, and people knew it as the crater. But reaching it wasn't easy because the route there was a war zone. Anyone who went there was gunned down by bandits. Many dangerous people were present there. To help, the man decided to send his daughter along with them. He showed them a map and said this route would take them straight there. He gave them a photo and told them to show it at a checkpoint along the way, after which they would be allowed to continue. If that photo got lost anywhere, they would never be able to reach there. After this, everyone set out on their journey once again. After traveling for a while, they stopped at a place, but suddenly some army soldiers surrounded them from all sides and flatly told them they couldn't go any further ahead, lay great danger as the army was locked in a war with some bandits up ahead. But when the girl explained who she was, the soldier trusted them and took them along to the place where Commander Johnny was stationed. But just as they reached near that place, intense gunfire broke out from all directions. Everyone kept moving forward amid the gunfire. In this attack, several military men were killed on the spot. Unfortunately, John's condition also began to worsen gradually, meaning he didn't have much time left. He could lose his life at any moment. Somehow, after an entire night's journey, they reached the checkpoint. But there they learned that Commander Johnny had already been killed in an attack the night before. The officer told them to turn back, saying that if they stayed there even one more minute, all of them would be killed. But John clearly said he wasn't going anywhere now. He would take his family to the crater no matter what. He showed the officer the photo, but the officer still refused. By now, John's body was also slowly giving out, as the radiation had spread completely through his system. Hearing John's plea, the officer's heart softened. Taking pity on them, he put them on a bus that was headed straight for the crater. John and his family once again set out on their dangerous journey. But before reaching their destination, another loud explosion struck right in front of their bus, caused by none other than the same bandits. The bandits completely took over the bus, killing every single army soldier who was with it. They ordered everyone inside the bus to get out. One by one, everyone stepped off the bus. But when it was John's turn, without caring for his own life, he attacked the bandit. Seeing John fight, the courage of the people standing outside was renewed as well. Together they took down all the bandits one by one. After dealing with that bandit, as soon as John stepped out of the bus, he was injured. He had been shot. He immediately told his wife that there was very little time left, so they needed to head to the crater right away. As everyone got into a vehicle, John's wife herself stepped forward and quickly took the driver's seat. They were all moving rapidly toward the crater. A little further ahead, they found many broken down vehicles blocking their path, so they were forced to stop the car and continue on foot toward the hill. As they climbed up the hill, a beautiful valley appeared before them, greenery all around, clean water and fresh air. Even after so much devastation, life still remained here. Seeing this scene brought peace to John's face. He felt reassured that he had finally managed to bring his family to a safe place. But because of the gunshot wound, he was now taking the last breaths of his life. Suddenly, he collapsed right there. John himself couldn't become part of this new world, but by giving his life, he had certainly given his family a new life, and the movie ends right there.